Welcome to the PlantMichiganGreen.com Gardening Show. Presented by the Michigan Nursery and Landscape Association. Now here's your Garden Show host, Dr. Bob Schutzki.
Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Bob, your host for the 2021 gardening season. Tune in every Saturday at 4 p.m. through August. We will share garden insights, feature guests from Michigan's green industry, and answer your questions submitted through the PlantMichiganGreen.com Ask the Expert. Our hope is to make the most of your outdoor living experience. And during the week, you can log on to PlantMichiganGreen.com, your landscaping and horticulture resource, to pose gardening questions, find a professional horticulturist, locate a retail garden center in your area, or become aware of the rewarding careers in Michigan's green industry. Today's show is sponsored by Michigan Landscape and Nursery Association, and we are pleased to have Amy Upton, the Executive Director of MNLA, with us after a short break. So stick around and get into the gardening groove on the PlantMichiganGreen.com Gardening Show on News Talk 760 WJR. Welcome back. We're pleased to have Amy Upton of the Michigan Nursery and Landscape Association with us. Amy will tell us about the Michigan Nursery and Landscape Association and PlantMichiganGreen.com. So what can you tell us about MNLA?
Well, I can tell you a whole lot. But before we start, hey, I wanted to take a second to thank you, Dr. Bob, for all of your time that you have put in and to help all of Michigan's gardeners have a successful gardening experience. So thank you for that. So
well, you're welcome.
With that, the Michigan Nursery and Landscape Association, we are a statewide trade association. We were established in 1922, so next year we are going to be 100 years old, making us, we are the largest and the oldest statewide green industry trade association. Our mission is simple. We are united to advocate professionalism, integrity, and growth for Michigan's green industry.
Wow, 100 years, that's quite an achievement. And I'm sure you're going to have a festive year in 2022.
Oh, I hope so.
So tell us all about the green industry that MNLA represents.
So, you know, this is one of the things that when I go out and I'm talking to friends and people that I meet, I tell them I work for the green industry, and there's a little bit of confusion about what is the green industry. So I'm hoping to clear that up today. The green industry is a collection of businesses that are involved in the installation, the improvement, and the maintenance of our outdoor built environment. So any segment of industry that has anything to do with plant material or anything around plant material in the built environment, that is known as the green industry. So our association, we represent all of the different segments, we call them segments, that have anything to do with plant materials. So anything like an arborist, they are members of our association. We have consultants, people that go out and diagnose problems and situations in the built environment. The retail garden centers that we've had on the show, they are our members. Greenhouse production, green roofs, growers, so our nurseries, where the plants actually come from, where they start from to get to the landscape, they are our members. We have irrigation contractors, landscape contractors, landscape design professionals, landscape management firms, licensed landscape architects, master gardeners, pesticide applicators, retail landscape supply yards, re-wholesaler, and then we also do the other season, the snow and ice management. So with all of that, sod growers, suppliers, turf management, these are all examples of segments in the green industry, this collection of businesses that are involved in the outdoor built environment. So of our members, we have just over 1,600 members. Most of them, 98% of our member businesses are family-owned businesses. 53% of all of our members are considered to be small businesses by the U.S. Small Businesses Administration. They're considered small businesses, so we specialize in the needs of what a small green industry business has, their needs, while representing all businesses and all of the different segments.
Wow, that's an impressive list of businesses and professionals that are involved in the green industry. So with all of those businesses, what's the economic impact that the green industry has on Michigan?
Oh, so great question. So I'm very proud to let you know that the economic impact of Michigan's nursery, the perennial plant production, Christmas tree, sod producers, landscaping, and lawn care industry. So essentially, everything connected in that whole group that I had listed before is $5.715 billion. So that's billion with a B. It just makes me so proud. Our nursery and perennial plant producers are the fourth largest ag commodity group in Michigan. We are the largest specialty crop in the state, and we are the third largest nursery industry in the nation. Now, before you ask, what is a specialty crop? I came prepared today.
Yeah.
So according to USDA, specialty crops are defined in law as fruits, vegetables, tree, nuts, dried fruits, and horticulture and nursery crops, including floriculture. So anything to do with horticulture, which is essentially our industry, is a specialty crop.
It's interesting because actually, when it comes down to it, the specialty crops are the crops that actually have direct benefits to the consumers, either on their tables, in their homes, in their kitchens, and certainly in their landscapes. Mm-hmm. So when we talked about the green industry, okay, there's an awful lot of potential environmental impacts that the green industry provides us. Can you mention some of those?
Absolutely, absolutely. I have some really great examples. So Dr. Bob, did you know that trees absorb as much as 85% of the sun's direct heat? So as you're going along, you're driving along on a Sunday drive, you're out in the country, and you have your windows down, you can actually feel a difference between the shady area with the trees and the sun, direct sun. So trees absorb as much as 85% of the sun's direct heat. Trees can reduce power demand by as much as 59%. So when you're, you have trees in your yard and you have your air conditioning going when it's one of those 95-degree days and lovely degree days in Michigan with the high humidity, the trees can help you keep your air conditioning bill down. Speaking of that, one large tree can absorb as much heat as several window air conditioners and can lower temperatures in your yard by 10 degrees. One tree removes 26 pounds of carbon dioxide from the air each year and can produce enough oxygen. This is one tree can produce enough oxygen, which is about 13 pounds, for a family of 4 to live on. And then we get into the turf, your yard. Grass, trees, and plants reduce soil erosion, a major cause of water pollution and sedimentation. I know we've seen that quite a bit in southeast Michigan. And then 8 average front lawns have the cooling effect of 70 tons of air conditioning. So those are just a few of the fun facts that I think are fun, but they are the environmental benefits and impacts of Michigan's green industry. In addition to economic and environmental, we look at the health benefits of the green industry and having an outdoor built environment. And those, there are many, much research and many examples of all of the health benefits that go with, having your landscape and working out in your yard.
These facts are interesting and important because a lot of people don't realize the absolute benefits that the landscape and in terms of trees, shrubs, and even lawns have on daily lives. We need to take a short break right now, so stay tuned for more from Amy Upton and the PlantMichiganGreen.com Gardening Show on News Talk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to more of the PlantMichiganGreen.com Gardening Show with your host, Dr. Bob Schutzki.
Welcome back. We're here with Amy Upton of the Michigan Nursery and Landscape Association and have been talking about Michigan's green industry. So tell us more, Amy.
So our association, the Michigan Nursery and Landscape Association, one of the questions that I get asked, what exactly do you do for your industry? So I like to explain it. We protect the green industry on all fronts. So we are working on legislative issues, regulatory. We help with business practices. We help with plant health. We fund research issues and opportunities for our industry, and we provide education, and we have a statewide certification program.
So tell us some of the legislative issues that you've dealt with.
Sure. So I'm proud because MNLA is recognized at the state capitol as the authority on legislative and regulatory issues. We are the resource for these in these areas that impact the industry's bottom line, as well as everything that they do. It's amazing to me. So when I started this position quite a long time ago, but I don't want to tell how long. When I started this position, I got involved with the legislative arena. It is amazing the number of bills that are introduced that don't actually become law, but they're introduced. And you have to look at each and every single one of them, and you have to look at them thoroughly. You have to read them thoroughly to see if there is any way that they're going to impact your industry. So even if they don't make it, like I said, to the final stage of becoming a law, there are parts of them that could make it, parts of the way. So it takes time to watch for these and to react to these, and I spent a lot of time doing that. I also spend a lot of time, so if they make it to a committee meeting or a hearing, I spend a lot of time at the hearing, just educating legislators on as to how this actually impacts and what you don't realize. Like you were saying, you don't realize the economic and environmental benefits of the industry. You also don't realize how putting this one sentence or changing one sentence in a current bill has an impact on the industry. So we work on that. We also work to introduce legislation to either fix unintended consequences from laws that are passed or to make it safer and more profitable for our members and their employees. An example of an unintended consequence. Dr. Bob, do you remember working with me? This was some years ago when we had an invasive plant bill introduced. Remember the Iris pseudocoris?
Oh yeah, remember it very well.
Yes, I know. So for the audience, Dr. Bob was instrumental in helping us educate the legislature. In particular, this was the Senate Natural Resources Committee. So a bill had been introduced to stop a plant that we all considered to be a bad plant, a bad actor, we call them. And inadvertently, another plant that doesn't do harm and is very good in the for the environment as well as in the landscape was put in on this list. And we weren't able to stop it, so we had to go back and introduce a bill to fix it, to get it off the list. And it was taken off the list, and I'm pleased to say that the senator that inadvertently put it on there apologized to us. So it was a good day for the industry.
If I can just add a few things, when you're working with the legislature on different bills in this, you've talked about how it impacts and it aids the members and the association and the industry. But all of those bills also funnel down to the consumer. So the consumer is benefiting from the result of this legislation as well, especially when it comes to the issues in terms of invasive plants, when it comes to plant health issues. And so it's not just the industry that's gaining the benefit from your legislative work, but it's the consumer as well, maybe in an indirect way.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Very good point to bring up. Yeah, so everything that we do, again, in our outdoor built environment, if it affects our industry, it's going to ultimately affect the consumer in the types of plants that they would like to plant, and how they can plant it, and how high they can allow their lawn to grow, or how short it is, and in a number of areas. Yeah, exactly. Good point.
So tell us about, are you involved in research?
Absolutely. So we work with, our main partner is Michigan State University, and we work with many different departments within Michigan State University to address issues that are affecting plants, essentially, plants. As well as working on business practices, and we fund research. We work with USDA on a national level with the Specialty Crop Block Grant Fund, and then we work with the Michigan Department of Ag and Rural Development. We have some funds there. So between all of it, we've funded over $1 million in research in the last 10 years, mainly to help with weed research and science, how better to grow plants weed-free, as well as plant health and how to take care of plants.
You were involved with helping with the emerald ash borer issue, weren't you?
Oh my heavens! That Bob, you know what? That was one of the worst days of my career at the association. I'll never forget the call. It came from the Michigan Department of Ag and Rural Development. Nobody had known anything. We knew something was wrong with ash. We were thinking ash yellow. We were thinking some disease. And we had all the best looking at it. We're trying to figure it out. And I got a call. I got a call from the Department of Ag and the Pesticide and Plant Pest Management Division, who we have a great working relationship with. And they said, Amy, we have to tell you some really bad news. We found a green bug. And I said, what? What are you talking about? And they said, yeah, and it's called the emerald ash borer. It came from China, and it is killing our ash trees. And we are going to put a quarantine on all ash trees. So all of your members that have ash trees have to destroy them. It was a bad day, Dr. Bob, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
because
can imagine.
Oh my heavens, I got a hold of my growers. They had over $10 million in ash trees. And in a tree, you can explain it better than me, Dr. Bob, but a tree, to get it to market, it takes 5 to 7 years for our growers. They have to take care of it. They have to feed it. They have to water it. They have to prune it. 5 to 7 years. Some of these ash trees that they had to destroy were in their sixth and seventh year. They were ready for sale. So they had all of these years, and it was over $10 million in losses for our industry, and we weren't compensated for it.
And the thing about the ash species were one of the most valued trees in landscape development because they were relatively fast growing. They reached a formidable size in a reasonable period of time. That's 5 to 7 years, and they were very adaptable to diverse soils and diverse environmental conditions. So it was a big hit when we took the ash species off of the marketable list.
Right, and not just for the industry. I mean, it was a big hit for everyone that had ash trees in their neighborhoods. And street trees, like you said. An ash tree, I might be exaggerating a bit, but I swear an ash tree could grow out of the pavement. And you saw them in parking lots.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And they were so versatile, and this one insect kind of put an end to that.
Right, right. So, and you mentioned research. So when the Emerald Dashboard, right after I had that call, I called Michigan State University. I mean, we have this great program called Project Green. I called the director of Ag, at the time, the Ag Bio Research Center, and said, we have a problem. And he said, we will put our top scientists on it and fund the research. And they immediately, I mean, before even the news releases were out, Michigan State University was already working on it, trying to protect the natural resource, you know, and trying to save these trees. So.
Yeah, it was a big deal for Michigan State and a lot of people got involved in that, in horticulture and entomology, even in pathology. It was a concerted effort to address this problem. Mm-hmm. Amy, we have to take a short break again, and so hold on and stay with us, and we'll be back. So stick around. And stay tuned, because we'll have, again, more with Amy Upton in the PlantMichiganGreen.com Gardening Show on News Talk 760 WJR. Welcome back. We're here with Amy Upton of the Michigan Nursery and Landscape Association, and have been talking about Michigan green industry, and she has a lot of information to share. So continue, Amy. Tell us about education and certification programs.
Yeah, absolutely. So you had asked, what does the association do for the industry? One of the main things, we have a huge focus on education of the individuals that work in our industry, from the entry-level positions to the long-term professionals. We can encourage continuing education all year long. And one of the ways that we've done that, we have built, it's over 35 years old. We have it's called the Certified Green Industry Professional Program. And this was developed for individuals in the industry that wanted to take it a step further and get their certification in a specialty within the CGIP program, or the Certified Green Industry Program. So we always encourage people to look for companies that have individuals that carry that certification program, because it just shows that they're specialized in certain areas. We also offer it for our growers, our wholesale growers. We have a Michigan certified nurseryman that just shows that the growers, they're specializing in what is pertinent for Michigan. So we think that's very important. So thanks for asking, Bob.
Yeah, actually, the CGIP program is a really important program for the industry, because it helps update individuals. And I've been involved in teaching some of the chapters, some of the segments in that program. And what we've done is we update it as we've gained information, either through research or other types of development. And so when you look for somebody who knows what they're doing, who knows the background and why they're doing it, the CGIP program is something worth considering, especially for the consumer who's going out there and looking for a professional. So again, it was a great program when it started, and it continues to be a great program, especially for young people who are coming into the industry and want that additional on-the-job training type of experience.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're here at the PlantMichiganGreen.com Gardening Show. So why did MNLA get involved with it?
Well, we had the opportunity, and the board of directors they've been looking at ways to help the new gardeners and the everyone who gardens in Michigan, help them to be successful with their outdoor built environment. And this opportunity came along, and the board jumped on it. They said, this is the perfect way. If we could get, we had Dr. Bob, if Dr. Bob would do it, we want to help people be successful. Because bottom line, we the environment, we care about the environment. We want the environment to be healthy, and we firmly believe that adding plants to your environment is going to help everyone. So we are here sponsoring the PlantMichiganGreen.com gardening show to promote that you should shop at an MNLA Garden Center member if you want to do it yourself, or go to a supplier and or hire an MNLA member if you don't want to do it yourself. The other thing that we want to do, I'm sure everyone is hearing that there is a shortage of talented people and skilled workforce. Our industry is no different. We have a huge shortage of people that we need to work in the industry. So one of the other things we want to do with this show is to promote the careers in the green industry. And they are careers. Like I said earlier, these are family-owned businesses that have made their livelihoods and their lives doing great things in the environment, building landscapes, beautiful things that they can be so proud of. And there are very many rewarding careers in the green industry, like I said, that help communities and the environment. So, whether you like to hit the books or work with your hands outside, there are so many career paths that will suit all sorts of skill sets and levels of education. And as far as education, we were talking about the certification program. So everyone, there's a different type of career in the green industry, from everyone that has no college experience all the way up to the PhDs like you, Dr. Bob. We have the certification program. It's a certificate program. So there are things that we can do, plus there's on-the-job training. As an association, we are working on a landscape and a nursery apprenticeship program that'll soon be available. We're working with the United States Department of Labor on that. We're excited, really excited about that. It looks like it's going to be a one-year program that'll have a combination of both you'll have education that you'll be learning, as well as training, on-the-job training, while you are earning a living and starting your career. So plenty of jobs out there. If you're looking to do something that makes a difference, not only with the environment but with people, you see the impact of the impact with people that work outside and work with their hands in the plants and in the soil. Plus, we have competitive salary with benefits, so you can make a good living. The salary gets even better with experience.
One of the things that interested me when I was at MSU was the amount of people who came into our horticulture program to enter the landscape and nursery industry as a second career. And the comments that I've often heard is that, well, when I was coming through education the first time, I didn't know the opportunities that the green industry provided. I didn't even know about the green industry. I gardened with my grandmother. I gardened with my family. I loved being outside, but my career path took a different turn. But after a while, I realized that I could be successful in the green industry. I could be out there doing what I'd love to do, and give it a go with it. So it was always interesting to me, the amount of people who started in some other career and then came into our industry. People who had started even in college. They said the average freshman in college changes their major 5 times before they leave. But and in horticulture, we also received a lot of people who would change their majors and come into our program in their sophomore or junior year. So again, one of the things that I think that's most important about your efforts in education is making people aware of this industry and the diversity of jobs, the diversity of professional positions in the green industry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And my friends out there, my friends in the industry, are wanting employees, and there are an awful lot of positions at all levels available, and everything from working with hands-on with the plant materials to working in the logistics and shipping and processing, and again, even in the business office, in the designing, the estimating and bidding, and the other accounting practices.
Right.
So the industry has a lot to offer, and I always enjoyed being in this industry when I started way back when, and even today, it's been a rewarding and a really fun occupation and career. What resources does MNLA offer the consumer and the home gardener?
Sure. So just like the name of the show, we have a website called plantmichigangreen.com. And plantmichigangreen.com provides resources that help keep Michigan beautiful and environmentally healthy. And Michigan gardeners, you can go to the website. You can get ideas. We have an inspiration gallery. You can also consult experts to solve complex problems. We have a Find a Professional area of the website. So if you're looking for a retail garden center, you can put in your county, your city, and the retail garden centers that are members of the association will pop up. Plantmichigangreen.com is where you go to get that, to find it and get it done.
This has been really an interesting show. You provided an extremely lot of information, and hopefully the listeners get a little bit better understanding of who MNLA is, what they have to offer, and what the MNLA members have to offer them. And again, thanks for joining us today and sharing all this information. And remember, if you have any questions, go to plantmichigangreen.com, ask the expert. And if you have any questions for Amy, I'm sure that she'll get the answer right out to you.
Absolutely.
So stick around. Well, great. Thanks, Amy. And so you're welcome. So stick around, because up next we'll end today's show with some garden insights on the plantmichigangreen.com gardening show right here on 760 WJR.
Now back to more gardening with your host, Dr. Bob Schutzki, on the PlantMichiganGreen.com Gardening Show. Here's Dr. Bob.
Welcome back. I'd like to continue with a few thoughts on environmental benefits of plants in the landscape. Amy kind of touched on it, and I would like to introduce you to a program called the National Tree Benefit Calculator. This is if you went on your search engines on your internet and you Googled or whatever browser you're looking for, the National Tree Benefit Calculator. And this allows anyone to make a simple estimation of the benefits that individual trees can provide. The users input the location of the tree, the species, its size, and they will get an understanding of the environmental and economic values that those trees provide on an annual basis. And it's a great tool that can be used at home. It's a great tool for school projects. And so trees provide tangible benefits such as removing atmospheric carbon dioxide and pollution. They deal in stormwater reduction and temperature modification. And by removing carbon dioxide, trees help mitigate climate change. The shade provided by urban trees can also minimize the heat island effect. Trees intercept stormwater, can reduce flooding and improve water quality, reduce air pollution such as ozone, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and fine particulate matter. And then this reduction in air pollution has proven to benefit human health. A question was asked when they were developing this on how much is a full-grown tree worth. And through their calculations, they found that a single tree provides approximately $73 worth of air conditioning, $75 worth of erosion control, $75 worth of wildlife shelter, and $50 worth of air pollution reduction. So I encourage you to go to the calculator. I'd like to end today's show with a question that came in for Ask the Expert from Vinny. And Vinny asks, he says, I hope you can tell me what is happening to my beautiful white pine. There's a white substance on the bark of the branches. This spring was the first time I ever saw it. It seems to me to be spreading to other branches. The trunk of the tree looks healthy. Please let me know what I can do. Hi, Vinny. Thanks for the question. The white substance on the branches of your white pine is most likely pine bark adelgid. It is becoming extremely active at this time of the year. The infested trees have patches of white, cottony material on the smooth bark of the trunks and the limbs and at the base of the needles or buds. Heavily infested trees may appear whitewashed. The insect uses its long needle mouthparts to pierce the bark and feed on the sap. The feeding is limited to the bark of the trees and it doesn't extend to the needles. The adelgid overwinters as a nymph, and during the first warm days of spring they begin feeding. The eggs are laid in the spring and begin to hatch in late April in Michigan. These eggs produce wingless and wing-formed insects. The wingless forms fly off to nearby spruce trees and lay eggs, but the offspring of these eggs eventually die. The wingless forms, the wing forms, fly off. The wingless forms that remain on the white pine produce as many as 4 more generations during that growing season. The infested trees do not appear to suffer any permanent damage. However, the cottony patches may affect the overall appearance of the tree. Horticulture spray oils and insecticide soaps can kill the overwintering nymphs if applied during spring before the nymphs mature and lay their eggs. Don't forget to visit our website, plantmichigangreen.com, and click on Ask the Expert to submit your landscape and gardening questions. You may hear your question and answer on the air. And remember to tune in every Saturday at 4 p.m. through August for the best information and advice to maximize your outdoor living experience. And during the week, log on to plantmichigangreen.com, your landscaping and horticulture resource, to find a professional, a retail garden center, pose your gardening questions, or explore the rewarding careers in the green industry. That's all for this week. I'm Dr. Bob, wishing you sunshine, a little rain, and happy gardening. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk again.
You've been listening to the PlantMichiganGreen.com Gardening Show with Dr. Bob Schutzki, presented by the Michigan Nursery and Landscape Association.